wore funky hats, credited with being the first person to use fingerprints for identification. He used a greasy print left on a bottle of alcohol. You said. "Well, all right then," the man said. He put you in a small room by yourself, a concrete cell with pale green walls and no windows. You lay down on a metal bench that was bolted to the floor. You drifted in and out of the thing the pills made you feel. You thought about Horatio Nelson and the final moments in the Battle of Cape St. Vincent, the fleets falling out of formation on the water, gun smoke rising toward the sails. Nelson reaching out to take the surrendering sword of San Jose. You slept, turning constantly on the hard bench, shaking the whole time from nervousness, and the thought of never going home, and the thought of not having any more pills to take. The lights went off, and then later came back on again. A man opened the door to say you could use the phone. You followed him into the racket of the booking office and called your nanny. "Good afternoon," Nanny said when she answered the phone. You tried to explain about the pills, but she kept saying, "Ricky, how did this happen? Should I come get you?" When you said you were in Texas, she started to cry. That wasn't the worst part. "Who's done this to you? Should I call the police?" she asked. There was a loud crash on the other end of the phone, something breaking. "What was that, Nanny?" "I dropped a plate of food." "Where's the car, Ricky?" "I'm being arrested, Nanny." "I have the car. I'll bring it back." And you meant it, without even realizing you wouldn't be able to. She said she'd called the secretary at Woodrow Wilson High School to tell them you wouldn't be at work on Monday. She told you not to worry about the dogs. She'd find someone else to walk them. This made you feel deserted and damned. Nanny didn't get it. "Can the neighbors do it?" you asked. Nanny said she had to go to clean up the food. "Nanny! Nanny!" you said, after she hung up. The officer next to you reached for his taser. You dropped to the floor and hid your face. "Jesus!" he said, before helping you up. After 2 weeks in the Webb County Jail, Judge Henry Travers of the 11th Circuit Court sentenced you to 1 year at Lewis Unit in Woodville, Texas. "You'll only serve 4 months," the public defender said afterward. You spent 8 days in a holding cell with a car thief named Teddy from Houston, then walked down a long, loud hall full of men yelling and watching as the guard took you to your room. Donald was sitting on the edge of the bunk, reading. The guard handed you your toiletries. The door made a shocking click-clicking noise when it closed. Donald moved his hair out of his eyes, held out his hand for you to shake. "You like Tom Clancy?" Donald asked, showing you the cover of his book. Most of the cells here are 2-man rooms with bunk beds, like the one you're in. There are 3 dormitories with around 70 men in each, and people get moved all of the time, but you've been in the 2-man cell with Donald since your intake. Everywhere you turn, there are black men. They huddle in the dorms or else move through the block like schools of shimmering fish, spotted by the rare scrawl of a white face. When the white men smile, their slim mouths are filled with rotten teeth. At first, there is a lot of crying and vomiting and shaking coming off the beautiful pain pills you'd grown over the past 1.5 years to love enormously. This is prison. Donald says he can't find you pills in here and that anyone who can is looking for a hookup. Sometimes the old dudes will offer something boring at the canteen, Effexor or Ambien. These do not help. You look at yourself a lot in the mirror. You're lanky,